My dreams are nightmares. How can I sleep? You got the gun against me.
What's going on, everybody? King of Dragons 5000 here, coming at you with another figure review. Today we'll be having a look at the Mattel WWE Ultimate Editions, The Man, Becky Lynch. And so here we have the Ultimate Editions Becky Lynch posed and out of the packaging. Before we take a look at the figure, let's actually run through her accessories really fast. Becky Lynch here does come with two different head sculpts. We do get the head where she has her hair off to one side, which was the beginning of the match. And then we also do have a head where she's smiling with her hair all wild at the end of the match. We also do get her entrance jacket and an interchangeable pair of arms that have the sleeves for the jacket. We also do get her arms for her regular ring gear. She comes with two pairs of hands. We get a pair of grip hands. And then we also do get a pair of fists. Finally, she does come with the Raw Women's title as well as the SmackDown Women's title. And she can hold both titles over her shoulder or around the waist depending on how you want to have her displayed. Other than that, Becky Lynch here doesn't come with anything else. So let's actually move on to her details. And so here we have a closer look at Becky Lynch. Now I really like this head sculpt, although I feel like something is off about it. I would much rather prefer her original The Man head sculpt, which we can bring that in just really quickly. I think this head looks more like Becky than this one. I think this is a little off for some reason. This is still the superior Becky head. So we'll leave that off to the side, and then we'll bring out the wild and crazy hair Becky Lynch, which I'm not a fan of this head sculpt, to be honest. Not only is it very tight on the ball joint, it looks completely wrong. Like, she looks drugged out of her mind, and that is not a good look for Becky. So this is probably the way I'm going to have her displayed, which I think that's how a lot of people do if they don't head swap it with the previous Elite Becky. Really do like the detailing in her hair. You can see they did a braid really nicely, and you can see the sculpted detail going all the way down. Really like the shade of red or orange that they used for the man here. Now, one issue I do have with the figure is if we get her to stand straight up, she's always looking down, and that's because the way they sculpted her, she has a hunch. Why did they give Becky a hunch? Now, you would think that the head articulation would make that a little bit easier, but no, it's completely useless. That she's always going to have her head at this awkward angle because they sculpted her neck jetting forward and giving her a little bit of a hunch. Why did Mattel do this? I honestly have no idea, but it does make the figure look like she's always lunging forward, like she's looking down at the ground trying to figure out what day it is. Really wish that Mattel had actually sculpted her with her neck straight up. That way her head actually looks straight. Because that's her standing straight up, quote unquote. And if you want to have her looking straight up, you have to move her torso all the way back. That is a huge flaw on Mattel. That's something that they really should have looked into before releasing this figure. So, as far as the detailing on it goes, I love the sculpted detail on it. There's a lot of things to like. The little pattern right here is nicely sculpted, although the paint on the inside is sloppy. Very, very sloppy. And that's just because of how small those spots are. That was to be expected. The reverse Kill Bill stripe does look pretty good. I love the shade of yellow that they used with it. It looks like a neon green under my lights, but trust me, it is yellow. Does look really nice. I believe this is a reuse from the previous Becky Lynch figure. It honestly does look like it's reused, so this is probably just the same lower torso, just with a new upper torso, because this does support the interchangeable arms. And right now I do have her with the ring gear sleeves, which you can see the really nice mold lines well, not mold lines, but sculpted detail running down the side right there. Looks really nice. If we go to the back, we see more of those interlacing patterns that Becky Lynch had during her WrestleMania match with Ronda and Charlotte. Looking at her trunks, which they did sculpt a new lower torso for Becky here. You can see the lettuce pattern going all across, and then more sculpted detailing right there. Really liking that. And then we do have the fishnets, which seem a little bit big on Becky. I don't quite remember how her fishnets looked. I don't remember if they were like this or smaller like this, but I'll go back and rewatch the match while I work on the video. But really do like the detailing on her knee pads. I like the fact that they gave her specific knee pads. That's really good, and I do appreciate that. One thing I don't appreciate is her boot socks, sock boots, whatever you want to call them. Now, the reason I call them sock boots, if you look right here, we have the sculpted detailing for the socks, and you can see she does have some, I'm guessing some supporters underneath her knee pads. That's all fine and dandy, but she has socks sculpted on her boots, and the boots have the laces. Was that how she had them? I don't remember the match, but I don't remember her wearing sock boots. That looks really, really weird, and it's really strange. I really do have to go back and rewatch the match because that looks really weird. She does have regular shoes on with the lacing right here and lacing on her sock boots for apparently. So yeah, overall there's things to like about this figure, but there are some things not to like about it, and that neck is probably my biggest issue with it. I'm never gonna... This is a figure that Mattel should have rethought, but overall it's decent. I like the details on it. So let's actually compare it to other figures you may have in your collection. Here we have the Ultimate Edition's Becky Lynch posed next to the Ultimate Edition's Brock Lesnar and a basic Jeff Hardy. And finally, here we have the Ultimate Edition's Becky Lynch posed next to the Ultimate Edition's Ronda Rousey and an Elite Becky Lynch. So with the details out of the way, let's actually run through her articulation really fast. Now, Becky Lynch's head is on a ball joint. It does move down slightly, does move up a little bit, but you can see the clearance right here on her neck doesn't give you enough room to really do anything with it. And because they did sculpt her body at an angle, you really can't get her to look straight unless you move her torso. So I don't like that. I really wish Mattel had reworked that. We do have ball joints in the shoulder which do go out. If you do push it a little too far, you will pop the arm out of the socket. That's the way a lot of the basic or Ultimate Editions work, is that you move the arm too far, you pop it out of place. We do have a nice 360, which works fine. We do have a bicep swivel, works no problem. Double bend at the elbow, giving us much better than 90 degrees. Really like that type of articulation. We do have a swivel and a hinge at the wrist. No issues there. We do have a ball joint right here at the torso, and the ball joint works surprisingly well. She can arch her back pretty far forward, and she can crunch pretty far forward for a female figure in WWE. She also does have really nice side-to-side movement, so really good job there. And some but not a lot of swivel at the mid-torso. She does have a swivel at the waist. We do have ball joints at the legs, so kick forward about that far. She does kick back. Doesn't really go all the way back because of her thickness. She does go out to the side, only to about 45 degrees. We also do have a thigh swivel, works no problem. Double bend at the knee. It is hindered because of the knee pad. If you can move the knee pad, you will get better range out of that. She does swivel at her sock boot. We do have a hinge at the ankle, which goes back and forward really nicely. We do have rocker ankle on the Ultimate Editions for Becky Lynch, and then we do have a toe hinge. So overall, pretty good articulation on Becky Lynch here, although there are some things I would change. It's still really, really nice. So what we're going to do now is get a pose for my final thoughts, and then we'll wrap up this review. And so here we have the Ultimate Edition's Becky Lynch pose for my final thoughts, and overall, this is an okay figure. It's not the greatest Becky Lynch figure that we've ever gotten. I still think the previous Elite figure beats this figure out by a long shot, mainly because the sculpt on that is much better. Even though this one does have a unique sculpt, it still has its issues. I'm not a fan of the way they sculpted her torso where she's lunging forward. That just doesn't look right. And I do think it's about time that Mattel does retool some title belts for the women. I think we've come to the point where they need to have in-scale title belts, because these belts are the exact same as the WWE Universal and World Heavyweight title, and those are pretty huge. They're not in scale at all with these figures, and that's something that Mattel really needs to look into, is giving us in-scale women's titles. Other than that, I think they did a good job with the way this figure came out. Like I said, I do prefer the previous Elite version, mainly because it looks more like Becky Lynch, and I think all the add-ins to this just doesn't make it a must-have figure. The Ultimate Edition's Becky Lynch here is a pretty decent figure in its own right, but I feel it does pale in comparison to the latest Becky Lynch figure we have gotten. If you are looking for this figure, I haven't seen it in retail, and I have heard rumors that the Ultimate Editions are going to be online exclusive now, so you might have to check out websites like Amazon or Ringside Collectibles for yours. I picked up mine from Ringside Collectibles. Now, it was at a markup of about $35, and is she worth the $35? Absolutely not. I do not feel like the Ultimate Edition's Becky Lynch figure is a $30 figure. I would be hesitant to even pay $25 for this figure. I think she's perfect at a $20 price range. And that's just because that she does come with some decent accessories, but other companies are doing the exact same thing for less, and I think that Mattel is getting a little bit shady with these Ultimate Editions. Hopefully they do improve them in the future. With that being said, guys, I'm King of Dragons 5000. Don't forget to like this video, leave a comment, subscribe to my channel. Go check out all my other action figure reviews as well as all my other WWE videos. Hopefully you find them informative. As always, if there's a figure you would like to see me review, let me know down in the comments, and if it's in my collection, I'll definitely have a look at it. While you're at it, check out my Instagram account for new and exciting action figure photos, and as always, ring that bell to be notified every time I upload a video. Until next time, guys, I'll see you later. Take care, everyone.